my favorite story right now is Lisa Cook. I'm very into this woman because it's very clear to me she DEI'd her way up to this seat.
How dare you?
How dare you?
That's terrible.
And now she's been caught. It's just like, honestly, I'm just going to say it. There have been a lot of black women who have ascended to these positions on very thin credentials, and then some sort of scandal takes them down, and the left freaks out about the fact that you're going after a black woman. You know, it's like from prosecutors, whatever, whether it's Kim Fox or Fannie Willis.
Like Marilyn Mosby?
Marilyn Mosby, thank you. Like, who get bounced out for whatever reason, but then you're not allowed to attack them because they're black women. But it's like, well, you elevated them for that reason, and we kind of were forced to
You just did an entire presidential election that was this.
Yes.
Right? It was where Joe Biden was like, I'm picking a black woman. And they're like, but you should really pick like a qualified person. And then she ends up as the nominee. And they're like, but you can't attack her saying she's a black woman. So, well, when you said it was a good thing.
Right.
When we say it, it's somehow like a bad thing. Like, it's the same thing that we're saying right now.
At least, like, pick somebody who's got credentials that are pretty much unassailable, right? If you're just going to bypass all the normal protocols and elevate them. So it turns out not only does this woman, has she allegedly committed at least 3 alleged instances of mortgage fraud with respect to a property in Michigan, a property in Atlanta, and now there's a third property where she allegedly misstated the purpose of her home. And this one was in, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. It's the third location. My team will get it to me. And in all 3 instances, she has stated the wrong purpose for the home. 2 of them she claimed were her primary residences at the same time, which is not possible. And it wasn't possible in her case. And she's not even denying it. Cambridge, Massachusetts was the third one. She's not even denying it, Ben. She hasn't, like, everyone's coming out saying she has the presumption of innocence. Well, she's not saying she's innocent. Not once has she said, I didn't commit this mortgage fraud. At most, her lawyers have said, well, one was a mistake.
Well, my favorite is, well, she hasn't hurt anybody because she's paying back the mortgages, which is, of course, exactly what one Donald J. Trump said in his New York fraud trial when they claimed that he was defrauding, remember, all of his lenders by making claims about the value of his various real estate properties. And they said he's overclaiming. He said, well, I mean, they can sue me. Like, if I'm not paying it back, then they can sue me. Like, no, you'll have a $500 million judgment against you, sir.
Right.
And so it's amazing. When the shoe is on the other foot, they use precisely the same defenses without any understanding of what it is that they're saying.
Right. With or without a victim, they were going to go after Donald Trump because justice.
Right.
You know, but with her, it's, you know what? No one's been her. We don't know if she even did it, even though she's not even denying it. And black woman. So now it comes out that this totally qualified woman. I'll just give you an example of that because Ellie Honig, who's the CNN legal analyst, he was even out there over the weekend saying, she's kind of in some deep, you know what? And for him to say it, you know, shows you they've got her. But listen to how he describes in sort of the throwaway how qualified this woman is. I mean, and I heard this over on NPR. I heard this on The Daily. They really talk about this woman like she's, you know, Maynard Keyes.
Yeah.
So here we go.
There is some suspicious activity here that's really problematic by Lisa Cook. The claim that this might be clerical error or just a mistake, that's not going to fly because Lisa Cook is one of the most established, accomplished financial and economic experts in this country. I think that the allegations on their face could be enough for a judge to say, look, I'm going to defer to the president on cause.
Is she one of the most accomplished, respected econ experts in the nation?
I mean, I'd never heard of her. Had you heard of her?
Literally nobody has ever heard of her other than Chris Rufo, who, unlike the 2 of us, is always paying attention to these details. And he was
You don't want
there.
to get on Chris's radar.
You
That's
do
just
not.
a bad move. Wow.
No. If he went to look at my academic papers, he would find they are almost non-existent. But Lisa Cook came under the Chris Rufo magnifying glass, as well as that of his one-time research partner, Chris Brunette, who's an independent journalist. And both of these guys were the ones who exposed Claudine Gay's plagiarism at Harvard. And this guy works for the American Conservative. He's written for the Daily Caller, and he obtained her tenure packet, her 85-page tenure packet via FOIA. It's heavily redacted, he writes, but here are the big takeaways. She was at Michigan State in the econ department, and he concludes, although everything's blacked out, you can see these black outlines.
Secret
that
economics.
It was clear from his review that they did not want to give her tenure, that they likely voted, the econ department likely voted against giving her tenure, but appeared to have been overruled by the dean. There's a column titled Recommended by Department Chair / School Director in blackout. The dean's column is not in blackout. You see the dean check to recommend her. But there's this, you can almost read between the lines. This was long blackout, nor was this long blackout. Lisa Cook is a valued colleague. Whenever we fill a junior position, we hope that the individual will succeed and be promoted to associate professor with tenure. We do everything that we can to help out along the way. Blackout, 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 blackout.
Uh-oh.
It's very clear she didn't get it.
Yeah.
And then the dean elevated her. And when she was applying for tenure, she relied on, among other things, Ben, her paper, which was also mentioned when she came under fire from Trump last week because of the alleged mortgage fraud. Okay, so here she was applying for tenure. In a section called Commentary and Accomplishment, she devoted 15 paragraphs to her research on lynchings and patents, and only one paragraph to how she's served the economics profession. Okay, all right. But she's written a lot, like everyone obsessed with DEI, about how terrible America was and the Jim Crow South and lynchings in America.
She should probably make our inflation decisions.
She totally should. It's obvious.
Right? Why not?
Well, and she knows a lot about mortgages.
Yeah, clearly, an expert.
So in this, so 15 paragraphs on her research on lynchings and patents, only one on her economic service. And apparently Rufo writes, I was making fun of this paper because it was like the premise was that lynchings of black people led to fewer patents held by black people. I was like, well, I mean, frankly, I get it, right? That's math. But it appears to have gone beyond that and crossed over into black people are depressed when they live in the Jim Crow South, and therefore they're not even trying for patents. But I learned from Chris Rufo that even that was totally debunked after she wrote it because she relied on patent applications in the year 1900, concluding that the number plummeted because of lynchings and discrimination. Meantime, other researchers soon discovered the reason for the sudden drop in 1900 was that one of the databases Cook relied on stopped collecting data that year. The true number of black patents, one subsequent study found, might be as much as 70 times greater than Lisa Cook's figure, effectively debunking the study's premise. So even her greatest accomplishment fell apart after the fact.
Well, sounds like, I mean, I heard Eli Honig. I mean, he said that she's amazing at this.
He said.
So I will take him for, I mean, he's on CNN. So
there you go.
So, I mean, I think we're done here.
Can we talk about why he did that?
I mean, I think we all know why he did that, right?
It's so frustrating.
It's obligatory. You must read the words. You must read the words before you. I mean, it's Manchurian Candidate kind of stuff. Reagan Shaw is the kindest, gentlest, most wonderful human being I've ever known.
It's racist.
It is, of course, racist. By the way, you can name half a dozen black economists who happen to be on the conservative side of the aisle, who actually are really well qualified for this.
Glenn Lowry?
Glenn Lowry. Thomas Sowell, Roland Fryer. I mean, you can keep going with all of this.
Where they're busy trying to, kick out of Harvard.
Yeah, exactly. And all those guys, very qualified, but given short shrift by the same exact people who will talk about the majestic qualifications of Lisa Cook, who, of course, does not seem to be a great shakes.
If you just wanted some random black woman who actually had written a bunch of scholarly articles, who's actually really smart, you could go with Carol Swain.
Yes.
She's not an economist, but she's way more qualified to be on the Fed than this person from the sound of it. And then here's another. Her tenure packet lists her writings that I just talked about on the lynchings as a peer-reviewed paper. And this guy who I mentioned, Brunette, the co-author to Rufo on the Claudine Gay stuff, he himself wrote an article for City Journal about this in 2022, pointing out she billed herself as a macroeconomist, but she'd never published a peer-review macroeconomics article. Ever. Not only that, but she misrepresented her publication history in her CV, claiming she had published an article in the journal American Economic Review. In truth, he writes, the article was published in American Economic Review Papers and Proceedings, a less prestigious, non-peer-reviewed magazine. So she lied. I mean, it's not exactly Elizabeth Warren, but she lied in an academic setting to get ahead, to say that this paper had been peer-reviewed and it was in the more prestigious senior partner to this less prestigious, shitty, junior partner.
And this sort of stuff matters, obviously, because when you're talking about the Trump administration, the constant attempt by the media is anytime there's something like this, it must be they're out to get Lisa Cook because it's a perversion of the Federal Reserve because the president has been so critical of Jay Powell over at the Fed. Or if it's about John Bolton, it can't be that there's actually a there. It must be that he hates John Bolton and that's why he's going after John Bolton. And nobody just takes a breath for like 5 seconds to think, hey, why don't we let this play for 3-4 days and find out what the actual allegations are? Because as you're pointing out, the allegations are pretty bad. And it turns out this person probably shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. But the media, it's Lucy with the football. Every single time they think they've got this guy in some authoritarian trap, then it gets pulled away and turns out actually there's kind of a legitimate basis for the thing that he's doing here.
Exactly right. So what I see here is a pattern of somebody who appears to me, dishonest. She lied, according to this, about her peer review. Her paper fell apart. It wasn't academically sound. It's really the only thing she has. She was denied tenure, we think, based on this reporting. She only got elevated to a tenured position thanks to the dean. I'm going to guess Ben Shapiro would not have been given the same
I have doubts.
help up,
Yes.
right, as she got. And then you have everybody running around saying how incredibly accomplished she is and how incredibly entitled she is.
I mean, now when she goes, think about her income trajectory now. She can pay off all those primary mortgages. And it'll be amazing.
She's already making money off of multiple properties because they're actually rental properties.
Exactly.
Not a primary residence, not a secondary residence.
Now she'll be a resistance hero. Right? And now she'll get a nice book deal out of this. She will get tenure at some other university on the basis of all of this. And she'll have a perennial slot, next to Eli Honig talking about what a wonderful, I guess, legal professional he is. And they can have a mutual admiration society. It'll be awesome.
What you see in her history, which is like the other strain. So you've got these questionable academic achievements. And then on the other side, right next to them, which really are blaring, are all of her woke commentary. Like all of it. It's everywhere. And, just today on The Hills Rising, Robbie Suave, sorry, I always screw that up because of the spelling. He went into a big thing about what she was saying during the COVID pandemic and George Floyd-a-palooza, and she was everywhere. She was everywhere talking about wokeism and Black Lives Matter and defunding the police. And apparently she was involved in the effort to oust Harold Uhlig, then editor of the Journal of Political Economy, he says, for crimes against wokeness. What did Uhlig do? In the summer of 2020, quoting from Robbie here, Uhlig wrote a few tweets in which he politely but firmly criticized the Black Lives Matter movement for the defund the police push among them. His most provocative sentence, this guy Uhlig, was George Floyd and his family really didn't deserve to be taken advantage of by flat earthers and creationists. So what did Lisa Cook do? She demanded his head. She, along with these other so-called conservatives or commentators, like Janet Yellen was one of them, Paul Krugman was one of them, they were all calling for this guy to be fired, and he was. He actually did get the boot. Cancel culture came for him. It was successful, although temporarily. He was placed on leave pending an investigation, eventually reinstated after cooler heads prevailed. But this woman was thrilled to see somebody canceled, losing their profession for one ambiguous sentence that she found offensive. But she can lie. I mean, she can lie to get hired potentially, possibly to get tenure. She can lie to get her job at the Federal Reserve because there's real questions about whether she disclosed any of this mortgage shenanigan stuff. We don't know whether she lied or just didn't disclose. There's no way she disclosed. She would have already told us that.
No.
And now she wants to run around claiming black woman, Trump bad. And yet in her history, who does she want to cut a break for, right? I just feel like I'm looking forward to her going down.
Yes, well, I mean, member of protected class gets hit by rules that she was trying to apply to others is definitely delicious.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think we've all been enjoying about the Trump era thus far is just watching the rules be equally applied to the people who are only applying them for themselves over the course of the last 10, 20 years. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these folks.
Yeah, like I don't have anything against John Bolton himself, but like if he actually did disclose confidential or classified information to the point where it was brought to our attention from some overseas CIA source, that would raise a red flag on anyone.
Yes, I mean clearly, and he will go to jail if that is what he did.
When inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt is over $37 trillion, do you ever think maybe now would be a good time to buy some gold? Well, you'd be right. Whether as a hedge against inflation, peace of mind during global instability, or just for sensible diversification, Birch Gold Group believes every American should own physical gold. And so they created something special. Until September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, request an info kit right now. Just text MK to 989898. Plus, Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. And you're still eligible for a rebate in free metals of up to $10,000. So make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate up to $10,000 when you buy before September 30th. Text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility and get your free info kit. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.